I'm in the student view in Wolfden right now. I'm just going to click on news and announcements. You're going to see you have your video. As you can tell, I am definitely proud of you guys. You guys have worked super hard. It's been my pleasure working with you. And I know that you've had to endure a lot of long hours, especially during this pandemic. And I'm just very proud of you. This final project is due, really supposed to be due this Thursday, if extended until Friday morning, 8 o'clock. So please make sure you get your project in. And hopefully at this time you're starting to see the end of the light at the tunnel. Finish strong. I'm going to talk a little bit about your final project, and it requires you to create a summative project utilizing all the past 7 weeks of data, along with tying in your capstone project topic that you've chosen in the past. Best to do that because when you get to RES 410, it'll make it a lot easier for you. You'll incorporate this data when you do Dr. Allowine's class for your capstone project. But you're going to be evaluating a community of health concern, hopefully a pulmonary if possible. And I list out the 4 areas that I want you to make sure that are inside your paper. The statistical data from an agency that identifies a specific pathological process, and it shows endemic reoccurrences, something that repeats itself, and it's able to be analyzed. You're going to summarize the risk factors associated with that pathological process and the elements of concern for this disease state or pathological process being developed. Next, I want you to go ahead and talk about the assessment. How would you assess this patient? What kind of a treatment protocol would you use that would be best suited for this particular pathological process that you're identifying? You want to evaluate the effectiveness of the respiratory care interventions that you're talking about as related to that specific disease process. You see that I've listed the timeline, what we've talked about over the last 7 weeks. Utilize that, okay? You're evaluating, interpreting the purpose, scope, and mandate for the community. You're going to talk about those agencies, state and federal, and those local agencies that help assure the wellness for our community, especially those agencies that are going to be associated with collecting the data, that epidemiological data. You're then going to design this model specific to a region, state, or a community. Say it's the flu. Okay, each year we know we're going to have an outbreak of the flu. Where, what, you could use COVID-19, but pick something that is that you've identified, hopefully associated with your chosen capstone project. Critique the risk factors of a region, state, industry, behavioral patterns. What would cause an increased occurrence for this pathological process to proliferate? Talk about air quality. Explore the monitoring concept regarding air quality and its importance. Maybe indoor air versus outdoor air. Interpret the risk, community risk factors, and how one would interact, the prevention methods, getting the flu shot on an annual basis. Use that epidemiological findings that you've identified through your research this semester and develop an awareness scenario. So how would you make the community aware? What would be the education plan? Is there an instructional protocol? All geared towards minimizing any kind of potential health hazards. Then tie the respiratory in, okay? what are some of the things directly related to respiratory care that we could do that could help to minimize the proliferation of that pathological process you've identified, as well as helping to assess your community, the health of your community or of a region. And you can foresee this is the actual objective for your final project. You're going to assess, evaluate, and develop a project that is directive of a community health concern utilizing statistical data agencies. And you're going to talk about the standards of care and the assessment of the patient, the treatment protocols, and how respiratory can be involved with regards to helping to improve community health. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm here to help, and I appreciate your time.